What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Jericho AFK. My name is Jericho, and today we've got another video just talking about some of the things that I personally have noticed games are lacking in this area in VR, not just for streaming or making videos, but for everybody that uses VR. And I am going to start off with the more general points and work my way towards content creation. Now, if you're a developer or you know a developer or for whatever reason you are caring about this, this might help you out because I found that a lot of the developers out there aren't these AAA big-ass game studios. In fact, I can't name one gigantic game studio that isn't Valve, and even then, they didn't exactly make the Portal Story VR stuff besides provide the assets for it. So, I mean, all of these are just smaller companies, smaller teams that are working on this stuff. And as a result, I feel like YouTube's not a bad way to get to them. So, let's start things first off with loading screens. So, loading screens to me are always a point of interest because typically they've been the most boring part of games, right? A black screen with loading or something with a splash image that says loading. But in VR, we have a special way to do loading screens. We kick people out of the game and into some random white wall room or whatever background that you've provided for it. Now, I don't know, and I don't pretend to know the difficulties in coding anything, so forgive me for misspeaking about something that might be fundamentally wrong, but it seems to me like the most disorienting part of VR is when I'm going into a different area and the whole HUD freezes. Not the whole HUD, the HMD freezes. My Vive stops and it waits to load in the next area. And while this is happening, I just have a static image on my Vive for a couple of seconds. Then it either goes to a black screen or it'll kick me into this white wall room, the standard loading room. And I don't have a problem with the standard loading room if and only if it somehow ties itself into the game. There are a lot of games that do this. I think the most notable one for me is Hover Junkers. So when you go from the calibration screen into the game itself, there's a loading screen that uses the background of the Hover Junkers kind of world, that desert-like area, as your loading screen background. So you don't really feel like you're leaving the world. You don't feel too disturbed by it. But I swear to God, the most disorienting thing is when it goes black or when it freezes the image. So you're moving around and all of a sudden you're static and it fucks with your head a little bit, right? So I can't imagine there's not a way to do this for every game where you at least tie in the standard Vive loading screen with, well, anything that your game might possibly or your gamer might possibly recognize. Like literally anything. Just don't make it a white wall. Just stop with that. And to the same extent, loading areas are huge now. So Hover Junkers, again, does it great with the multiplayer loading area. That's what I'm talking about when I say there are really quality options that will change the way we see loading screens as it is now. I mean, loading screens are boring. In fact, people, who was it? Konami? Somebody had a patent on loading screen games because they're so boring. In the same kind of idea as loading screens, I'm going to go into the boundaries. So a couple games that I've played, and I see this as pretty lazy. I don't know if it's lazy or if it's just, I don't know what they were doing. A couple games have it so when you leave the play area, your HMD goes black. Or the entire game goes black except for your play area, and it's like, go back to your play area. Like, I'm a grown-ass adult, sort of, kind of, and most people playing this are smart enough to understand that if I want to play, I've got to be in the fucking area that I set up, you know? Like, I gotta be in the same area that I'm always in. But no, not these games. These games either turn black or whatever, and that's the most disorienting of all because you lose all ties to the physical world unless you take off your headset or you use the pass-through camera. I mean, you lose all ties. It's just, it doesn't even show you the green square on the ground sometimes. You just kind of guess where you need to go and hope that you don't trip over a cable and fall through a window or whatever. So that's incredibly lazy and has no place. You need to be able to exit the boundaries of the game. If the game wants to pause, fine. But my computer is outside my game space because I don't want to kick my computer or hit it with like anything. So I have to leave if I want to do anything on the computer, whether it's change audio quality options or audio settings or video quality options, or whatever you want to have. So I think that's probably a self-explanatory one. Just don't do it. And talking about audio, there's very few games that have fucking audio options. It's 2016, we're playing with virtual reality. There's porn. I can have sex with a 30-foot tall woman, and you're going to tell me I can't manually adjust the audio options in your game. A simple, settings. Just maybe even, I know you can do it in the Steam overlay, but here's the deal. The Steam overlay affects everything on Steam inside your headset versus just the game. So oh God, please. There's a couple games that do this that have in-game options. Great. Thank you. Please continue with that. Video options are even better. I mean, I'm just a fan for options. Let people customize their shit without taking their headset off, because the most annoying thing is having to take your headset off and put it back on and take it off to change something and put it back on. Trust me, I do it every time I have to record. And that's just a pain in the ass. One thing I did want to mention before we get into the kind of streaming things is this one is kind of this one kind of applies to both. Stop publishing games that do not have a 16:9 output. Stop it. Stop it. VR is, I'd be willing to say almost 50% of it, the joy is watching somebody else play it. I'm not even remotely trying to take away from how amazing VR is. VR is outstanding, and by 5 years from now, again, for the 400th time, I'm sure it'll be the #1 thing for entertainment viewing, or for media viewing. It's fucking crazy. But stop, for the love of God, outputting a 9:16 vertical image, or whatever you want to call it, 4:3, or any aspect ratio that isn't the two eyes combined. Just, I know you can do it because 90% of the games do it, but if you're wondering why I haven't uploaded a lot of games to my VR channel lately, a lot of the major games only have this fucking weird aspect ratio output. All the Valve games do. Budget Cuts does. It's just for the love of God, if I need to sit here and walk somebody through the game for the first time and tell them how to play and kind of help them experience it, as well as experience it myself through them, don't make me sit 3 inches from my monitor trying to see the corner. There are some games, actually. This one, this one game that I played that was a demo, to be fair, straight up would not let you maximize the screen on your computer. It just, nope, the window size is the window size you get. That's miserable. I mean, we had 15 people over trying to crowd around and watch somebody play Hollow Point, and it was fine because it was a big enough image. Can you imagine them trying to watch anything on that messed up aspect ratio? Please, 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 not just for the viewers, but also for myself, a content creator. I can't stream your game if half or more than half the screen is black. I can't. It looks horrible. I can't make videos like that. Go look at the comments for the Portal game. Half of them aren't even talking about the game. It's all about the aspect ratio. Don't let your amazing game be defined by its output. I'm sure it's not that difficult. If it is, I'm sorry for, saying it's not difficult, but please, it's an essential thing if you want somebody to make content for your game. At the same, level of importance, if you want anybody to stream your game, you need Twitch chat involved. It's an open API. It is. I don't know why. Maybe it's just not at the top list of developers, but Job Sim, a game that has no real place to put it, involved it, and it works great. If I want to stream a game, the last thing I want to do is rely on the Steam overlay button to pop it up. And currently there is no program or something that I can run that will let me see the Twitch chat on my HMD. It is up to you, the developer, to include it. And I promise that not only do I currently, gravitate towards game with chat integration, i.e., go look at my Hover Junkers, streams. I just stay in there because I can have chat always. That is the biggest holding point or holdback. What the fuck am I saying? That's the biggest thing that is holding people back from streaming VR is chat integration. It's, at this point, you kind of need 2 people. So, I really, really hope that people prioritize this. Chat integration is huge, and I don't think that a lot of developers understand that you're not going to get a lot of people streaming your game solo or at all if you don't have some of these options. So, with chat, with audio options, etc., these are all lovely. The final one that I wanted to talk about that I didn't bring up is I also don't like spending the first 40 minutes of my game trying to figure out things that I can do in the game. I like to have a tutorial, or I like to have a demo of what I can do, or at least an overlay of the buttons. Don't make me sit there and press all your buttons and figure out halfway through the game that, clicking up on the D-pad while doing a circle interacts with the environment. Like, don't make me do that. It's standard to have tutorials in video games. It has been for dick years. And I understand that you might be part of the group that's like, well, that makes gamers dumber. They got to figure it out themselves. No, we're dealing with VR here where I am putting my dad in this shit sometimes. I'm not going to sit there and be, Tank from the Matrix and load everybody in and let them know exactly how to do everything every single time somebody gets in here. And they're not going to want to sit there and go through a 30-minute tutorial period figuring it out themselves. Just put a button overlay at least, anything at all. So I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this is helpful. If you guys have anything that I missed, any suggestions or otherwise, please let me know. Post a comment, tweet at me, let the devs know, because I feel like a lot of these are very integral parts to games that are just being simply left out for the sake of getting the game out earlier, which is fine, but it needs to start happening, okay? It needs to start happening. So thank you guys for watching again, and hopefully I'll be back with some more 16:9 VR content in the future. Talk to you all later.